Welcome back to Vital Updates. I'm Christine, and this National Women's Health Week, we are highlighting stories that are specific to women's health. We are with Brianne Chandler, aka Miss Movies. You normally review movies.
I sometimes review movies, but sometimes I also miss movies because I have 2 kids. So it's a play on words for those that didn't quite get that.
That's good.
I used to see them, and then I had kids, and now I don't see them as much.
Speaking of things affecting our lives, today we're talking about how your birth control affected your life in a pretty serious way.
Yes. So when I was about 17 years old, I went on birth control. And the reason that I decided to go on birth control is because I had really terrible menstrual cramps to the point of not wanting to actually get out of bed for an entire day. So I went to a doctor and they said, let's put you on birth control and see how that works. Around that time is when I started having suicidal thoughts. I personally thought like maybe I am having these thoughts because around that same time I was getting close to graduating from high school and I wasn't going right away to a 4-year college, and that was a big deal. I was going to be going to the junior college for a year, and I thought that maybe it's just all related, and maybe once I get through this that will stop, but it didn't stop. And I found that suicidal thoughts would become a way to relieve stress in my life. Like if I had something very stressful happening, that's a thought I would have. And it would be a quick thought, and it would always be the same. For most part, it would always be the same thought, which was a gun to my head. I don't own a gun. I've shot a gun before, but like at a range.
Did you, when you were thinking these things, did you ever think, I shouldn't, this is wrong?
I never thought that it was a wrong feeling. I have a very dark sense of humor in general. Like I like movies like The Royal Tenenbaums, which is kind of a dark comedy in a way. And when I watched that with my parents, I realized that they do not have that same kind of humor. Like they didn't find things funny that I thought were funny. And I was just like, we obviously are different. And so then I made this joke, and I can't remember exactly how it went, but it was definitely about suicide. And everyone in my family just stopped and looked at me and said, that's not funny. And I was like, oh, maybe I should never bring this up with my family. So that's why I never told anyone. I never told a single person that I had suicidal thoughts until I talked to my doctor 17 years later.
So for 17 years, while you were on this birth control,
yes,
you would fantasize about killing yourself.
Correct. And it wouldn't be all the time. And it wouldn't be, there would be like spurts of time where I wouldn't have any thoughts of suicide. And then it would just come on and it would happen, and then it would go on to the next thing. But it would increase depending on my stress level, and it would increase depending on, the other goings on in my life. The time when it got really bad, and that's when I finally talked to my doctor about it, was after I had my second child. All he said to me was, you're carrying around, it's like you have a parachute on your back right now. And what we're gonna do is we're just basically like cut the parachute off. He's like, you'll still have some stuff on your back, but it's not gonna be the same as it was before. He said, but the first thing I need you to do, aside from stopping your medicine, is I need you to tell people. I need you to talk about it. Whether that's with just your husband, whether that's with your family, you need to discuss this, because they're gonna need to be the ones that support you and help you through this.
What did they say?
I came home and right away said to my husband, like, I need to tell you something. And he's like, how come you've never told me? And I said, because I've never told anyone.
I think that there are more people in the world that might be affected by this than maybe people realize.
Right.
I mean, this isn't a topic that a lot of people talk about.
Right.
I think that people feel shame or scared or just really uncomfortable to admit that they might even be depressed.
And the other hard part, which people don't talk about, is from the time you admit to yourself and to others around you that you need help to the time you actually start getting help can be a really big gap. I feel like that's where people could really get lost and really maybe take their life because they don't know how to get the help. Because people will say, oh, how can I help you? Which is nice, but it's not helpful either because you don't really know how you want them to help you all the time. But what I needed was someone to actually like call therapist's office and get me an appointment. Like I just wanted someone to get me an appointment because I wasn't strong enough to do that on my own.
I've also experienced some depression, and I think it's so hard to reach out to a therapist sometimes because you are too depressed to even look at numbers, to talk to your doctor, to find out who fits into your insurance.
I can't tell you the last time that I've had a suicidal thought, so that's nice. But it takes a while because, you know, my doctor said, you know, you've been suffering from this for so long that even when we get you off of birth control, it's not necessarily going to be the answer. He's like, and that's why we're going to get you a therapist and we'll get you help.
There are a number of studies that have been done that actually show that there is a correlation between birth control and depression. And then there's also studies that have been done that saying, you know, birth control helps people sometimes when they are feeling depressed. So nothing is black and white. Like everybody's health is unique to their own body, and it's one of those things you should definitely talk to a doctor about before you make any decisions. Even after watching this video, just make sure you talk to somebody before you decide, oh, I should just stop taking birth control, because birth control is helpful if you don't want to have kids quite yet, you know?
It was hard for me to like decide to go off of it too, like right away. I was like, well, I have all these pills, maybe I should finish them, you know? And my husband's like, no, don't finish them. Stop now. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I just want people to know, like, things can get better for you. I can't say that they will get better for you. I wish I could. I wish I could say, like, things will get better for you, but that doesn't always work for everyone's situation. But things can get better for you. And I think holding on to that thought is what, like, can help you through. And be specific with people with what help you want.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing with us at Vital Updates. For more National Women's Health stories, make sure to check out our YouTube channel. For Vital Updates, I'm Christine O'Donnell with
Brianne Chandler, Miss Movies.
And we'll see you next time. And don't forget to subscribe. Right there. Subscribe there. Push the button. Okay, thanks. Bye.